Welcome to episode 20 of BrownCast Ultra, the official podcast of the Oscars.
You're gonna get sued.
The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences probably wants nothing to do with BrownCast.
Yet.
So for this episode, the biggest news story that we wanted to talk about is the Oscar nominations got put out today.
It is the dawn of Oscar season
on Thursday. And we're here at BrownCast Ultra. This is kind of like the Super Bowl to us nerds, and so you're going to be getting a lot of awesome Oscar coverage with BrownCast Ultra, starting with today's episode 20, in which we are going to go over the list of nominations. We're not going to go over all of them, so if you're looking for the full rundown, we're going to be leaving links down in the show notes so you can look up the full list yourselves, but we will be hitting all the major categories.
Yes.
In our opinion, I suppose. But still, we know the major categories. We're really into this. So moving on from there, we'll start off with Big Picture.
Big Picture?
Sorry.
I think
Best Picture. What was the biggest picture
now
of the
Movie
year?
Bob's gonna sue us too.
Yeah. Not if we plug him.
We did. We name dropped. Alrighty. Alrighty, in the Best Picture category, we have American Sniper, Birdman or the Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, Boyhood, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash.
Alright, so for achievement in directing, of Alejandro G. Inarritu for Birdman, Richard Linklater for Boyhood, Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher, Wes Anderson for The Grand Budapest Hotel, Morton Tildum for The Imitation Game.
And for Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role, we have Steve Carell in Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper in American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Imitation Game, Michael Keaton in Birdman, Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything.
Alright, performance by an actress in a leading role. Marion Cotillard in 2 Days, One Night, Felicity Jones in The Theory of Everything, Julianne Moore in Still Alice, Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl, and Reese Witherspoon for Wild.
In performance by an actor in a supporting role, we have Robert Duvall in The Judge, Ethan Hawke in Boyhood, Edward Norton in Birdman, Mark Ruffalo in Foxcatcher, and J.K. Simmons in Whiplash.
Alright. Best performance by an actress in a supporting role. Patricia Arquette in Boyhood, Laura Dern for Wild, Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game, Emma Stone for Birdman, Meryl Streep for Into the Woods.
For Best Animated Feature, we have Big Hero 6, The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, and The Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Right. For Achievement in Cinematography, have Birdman, Emmanuel Lubezki. These are the cinematographers. Right? Grand Budapest Hotel, Robert Yauman. Ida, Lukas Zal, and Ryszard Lindzuski.
For Ida.
Mr. Turner is Dick Pope, and Unbroken, Roger Deakins.
For Achievement in Film Editing, we have Joel Cox and Gary D. Roach for American Sniper, Sandra Adair for Boyhood, Barney Piling for The Grand Budapest Hotel, William Goldenberg for The Imitation Game, and Tom Cross for Whiplash.
All right, and then for the Sound Awards, Achievements in Sound Editing, you have American Sniper, Birdman, Hobbit, Battle of Five Armies, Interstellar, and Unbroken. Now for Achievement in Sound Mixing, American Sniper, Birdman, Interstellar, Unbroken, and Whiplash.
For Achievement in Visual Effects, we have Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy, Interstellar, and X-Men Days of Future Past.
Alright, for Best Adapted Screenplay, you have American Sniper, written by Jason Hall, The Imitation Game, written by Graham Moore, Inherent Vice, written for the screen by Paul Thomas Anderson, The Theory of Everything by Anthony McCartan, and Whiplash by Damien Chazelle.
For Best Original Screenplay, we have Birdman or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, written by Alejandro G. Iñárritu, Nicholas Giacobon, Alexander Dinelaris, Jr., and Armando Bo. For Boyhood, we have Richard Linklater. For Foxcatcher, we have E. Max Fry and Dan Fuderman. For The Grand Budapest Hotel, we have Wes Anderson. Story by Wes Anderson and Hugo Guinness. And for Nightcrawler, we have it written by Dan Gilroy.
All right. Okay, so back to the top of the list. So, Best Picture, which I guess there's no better place to start than, I guess the good. Okay, here's a good place to start for this. Who do you want to win, and who do you think is going to win?
Okay. Well, here's my thought. Who I want to win, I want Whiplash to win. After I've seen Whiplash, Birdman, I haven't seen Boyhood, or at least I've seen some of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Those are all the ones that I think are, like, have the best chance, why I name them specifically. But to me, Whiplash stood out as a much better and tighter movie, you know? It has a much more, like, powerful, like, story arc. Not to say that my second place would have been Birdman by very close, but I just like Whiplash a little bit more. I think that Birdman is going to win, but I could very easily see Boyhood winning, because Boyhood's become a very, like, favorite in the independent circuits and the film festival circuits.
Mm-hmm.
So that being said, I'm like I said, I'm going for Whiplash, but it's really hard. It's a really tough bet this year. Like, this is a really close
It was
Oscar.
close this year, for sure. Well, for me, I really liked Whiplash, for sure, so I'm kind of with you there. I haven't seen The Imitation Game, but I heard that's really good, but still probably not good enough to beat out the big two this year. But I'd say the movie I want to win is Grand Budapest Hotel. And
Really?
maybe it's just because of the movie Grand Budapest Hotel, on top of it being, like, very smartly written comedy,
Mm-hmm.
is because it's Wes Anderson, and with his style calls for a lot of attention to detail, and it's very immersive. to watch a movie like that, and I think that's really kind of a better achievement, maybe so, than Boyhood.
Yeah.
Which I think Boyhood, I think that Birdman will win Best Picture, for sure. And I think possibly they'll give Boyhood
Best Directing.
Best Director.
I can agree with that. I completely think Boyhood will win Best Director.
But yeah, and with Birdman, even though I saw it, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I don't think I necessarily got it. I am going to need to rewatch the film for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I could also see it's like, all of Hollywood going, well, this movie's about us, so let's give an award to them.
Yeah.
Because I did pick up on. I mean, even though I don't think I fully understood it, I did pick up on that it was, for the most part, a kind of allegory of Hollywood today.
Yeah.
Even though it's about a Broadway play,
yeah,
it's still mostly about Hollywood today.
I will say this with Birdman: if Birdman does win Best Picture, it's actually they totally deserve it. Something that really stood out to me with Birdman is because now you're talking about it being about Hollywood and movies today. A lot of the I'll get into more of this once we hit cinematography, but a lot of the tricks with this movie are extremely impressive, and this is Birdman is a tight movie. Like I said that about Whiplash, but Birdman is a very held together movie.
Yeah, and I see what you mean. Because Whiplash is pretty tight, but Birdman definitely brought more finesse to the cinematography and still managed to keep it tight.
I don't want to talk about cinematography just yet, but once we get there, it'll be very apparent. So we both can agree Boyhood's probably going to win directing.
Yeah.
Which, I will say this, the reason I think it's going to win directing is because this is a director's award, and the gentleman, Mr. Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the whole thing of this. For those who don't know, Boyhood, the big thing with this movie was that it was filmed in real time as the child actor aged.
Over the course of 12 years.
Yeah. So, I think the Academy is definitely going to recognize the time, effort that this guy put into 12 years in making a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that it's just on principle he'll win it because of the pulling off such an ambitious idea and concept,
Yeah.
And making it work. Because I mean, keeping a kid on a movie for 12 years.
Yeah.
That would be
exactly
difficult.
as this child over the course of filming learns what a movie is and the concept of that he's in a movie.
Yeah.
So going back to Best Picture though, something I wanted to bring up before we left each category is any snubs. Is there anything you think was snubbed from Best Picture or something that or maybe even something that maybe you kind of see why it wasn't nominated Best Picture, but you think could have done with some praise, a nod.
Yeah, I would say Fury is in that one where I can see why it wasn't nominated. I think it I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have ever won.
Yeah,
but it could have. It definitely deserved a nod of recognition for what it did do. But I think a lot of it has to do with war movies just aren't, especially with American Sniper being the big thing. A World War II movie is just not as impactful.
Plus,
in Hollywood.
The Imitation Game is although it's a different kind of World War II movie. It also takes place during World War II with military code breakers. So.
Yeah, so I think with this one, it's just they can't put Fury's not is the least Oscar type war movie out of the three. So they just said, well, we can't have 3 war movies, Yeah. So I imagine it wasn't I imagine if it was nominated by someone, the Academy probably said, yeah, we can't have that,
Yeah. Well, that was and they also have American Sniper, which isn't a World War II movie, but
it's all about and it's just the name of the game. I mean, sometimes with Academy Awards, I was discussing this with a friend when we were talking about Selma, and how we were discussing about how like they didn't get as many nominations in as many categories this year. And I thought to myself, a lot of it just has to do with just like your movie just winds up in the wrong year. And it's up against some movies that have just been like passion projects or just have been like just really came together.
Yeah, things that really came together. And even like, Whiplash is like this kind of low budget movie that was just really tightly edited almost.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So I think moving on to actor in a leading role.
Yep. So once again, who do you think? Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win?
I think I want Michael Keaton to win because he does a great job in Birdman, and it's a very subtle performance,
Yeah.
But I really like it. I think that either Bradley Cooper or Eddie Redmayne are going to win. I call it a 50-50 between the two. Because I had a very long... I only say this because I had a very, very long discussion with someone who went and saw American Sniper, I want to say, less than a week ago. And we were talking about this. And when we got through it all, essentially it boiled down to... Because Bradley Cooper is, really, really taking off, being this...
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Yeah, and he managed to do a very good job portraying a very polarizing character in history,
Yeah.
And I think that definitely he's gonna get a lot of recognition for it, Yeah. But on that same thing, Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything, people say he does a great job of portraying Stephen Hawking and this whole transition in this dude's life.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would think Eddie Redmayne is way much more likely to win
now,
it than Bradley Cooper.
I will say in a honorable mention, Steve Carell in Foxcatcher. If that happened, I'd be stunned.
Yeah.
But it's a performance worth seeing. If people are on the fence about Foxcatcher, that's one it'll weird you out, especially because with all the makeup work they do on him, there's some moments where you're like, is that Steve Carell?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what do you think, Kyle?
You discussed all of them. That's why we should stick to my...
All right, fine.
Yeah, because now I have nothing to talk about. Anyone you think got snubbed from actor?
From actor? I can't think of anyone that got snubbed off the top of my head.
Yeah, not really. I guess one person I would have liked to see is... and I guess this is also a best picture one I would like to see, but I would have liked to see Snowpiercer have gotten a best picture nod, but especially Chris Evans in Snowpiercer, because even though I could see why he wouldn't be nominated, but he did a really good job, and finally got to get outside of the Marvel machine to do an independent film.
Great independent film, as we've talked about before.
Yeah, it was really good. And it kind of shows the power of what you can do, even with independent filmmaking and low-budget stuff.
Yeah.
So, I guess that brings... so...
All right, well,
I'm actually pretty sure Michael Keaton will win Best Actor, by the way, though. But Steve Carell, I wish he would win. I wish Steve Carell would win, and I think Michael Keaton will win.
Yeah. So, since I ruined the last one, you can take the next one.
Performance by an actress in a leading role. You have Marion Cotillard in 2 Days, One Night. Felicity Jones in The Theory of Everything. Oh, we already said all these, but...
Yeah.
I want Rose... I actually don't know as much about this one. I need to see more of these movies, because the only person I've seen is Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl. And she did really good, but she is not the front runner from what I am aware. So I'll have to see The Theory of Everything and Wild for sure. The other two, I might see. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm a lot in the same boat as you. I've seen her performance in Gone Girl. I saw a little bit of Theory of Everything. So, and Felicity Jones does a really good job. So I guess I would say if that would be my like second pick.
Yeah.
You know. But we'll see. Alrighty.
Anyone snubbed from Best Actress?
Snubbed? That one that's another one I don't really have like anyone particular I think got shafted on that. Now some of this I know some people were thinking like, well, you guys would think maybe Selma, but I have not had a chance to get through all of Selma yet, so my opinion may change.
Yeah, it seems like there's really not any very powerful female performances that come up immediately to my memory this year.
Yeah.
So,
at least any that aren't already on this list.
Yeah.
No.
So, actor in a supporting role. J.K. Simmons just has that tied up. Yeah. He's almost like a shoe-in for this.
Sorry, Robert Duvall. I think J.K. Simmons is going to take this
Well,
one.
I mean, the judge didn't get that very stellar reviews.
Yeah.
I'd say Mark Ruffalo is really good. And Edward Norton, of course, was really good. J.K. Simmons, it was kind of just a really standout performance this year.
Yeah, I am straight up J.K. Simmons the entire way.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure he has that one in the bag.
You know something? This is tangenting a little, but we have some time. You know something with Whiplash, that with J.K. Simmons, that like I don't know, this like really like I was like, wow. Is he freaking got some guns for this movie? Yeah. Like, oh man, that dude's been hitting the gym. Yeah.
It's I definitely noticed that. He's kind of, although black is definitely a thinning color.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like.
But yeah, no, he's been taking care of himself. Yeah. For sure.
Makes you feel bad.
Yeah. He's much, much older than me. Yeah, for sure. Looks way, way better than me. So,
this is now called Sadcast.
Sadcast Ultra. My biceps aren't big enough.
I can't be a conductor.
Yeah, throw chairs at my drummer's head.
Oh man. Alrighty, actress in a supporting role. I think. I don't know. Like the only one I've really seen is Emma Stone in Birdman.
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't understand why she was nominated.
I mean, yeah, it seems a bit much. I'm thinking it's either going to go to Keira Knightley or Patricia Arquette because those are the ones that I've heard are definitely like fairly big for it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go see those movies. I thought of a big snub.
What's a big snub for?
Well, a couple big snubs. Some we forgot, so I'm gonna bring them up now.
Okay.
But David Fincher for directing.
For Gone Girl?
Yeah. That's a little bit odd. I thought you would think that he would. That was a very, very well directed movie, as per usual with David Fincher.
But you know what? I have to agree with you on that statement of you said as per usual. Maybe
it wasn't very special. So,
I mean, honestly, I think it could very much be this kind of like it's kind of like the same reason why I think like this whole like the Spielberg effect. Where it's like. You can't do your normal stuff as much anymore because now we're so used to that quality. Yeah. Like it's like David Fincher's movies are just going to look good and going to have great color and pacing. So it's like you got to wow them a little bit,
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why I think that's why Fincher's not in the directing category is because. There's a lot of movies that wowed people with these directors that really came, Cinderella Story.
Yeah. So the other big snub I forgot about, and this is one of the bigger ones for me. Is Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler.
Yeah, that's right. I can't believe we forgot him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jake.
So did you get a chance to watch Nightcrawler?
I did. Like,
that was probably a big Best Picture snub. For
Definitely.
sure, because that was a very, very good movie.
That was.
I guess I could kind of see why. I mean, compared to these other movies, it wasn't as.
That was an Alec Brown at 5 o'clock in the morning movie. That's the best kind of
yeah.
movies.
I watched it rather late too. Actually, I started it around. I watched it from like 1 to 3
The thing
in the
with
morning.
Nightcrawler is. Nightcrawler, I'm not surprised it didn't get nominated. Not to say I don't think it was snubbed out. I'm not surprised though because of the whole tone and look of it. You know, like the whole like type of story it is.
Yeah.
You know, I can see it being I can see it being one of those stories because Jake Gyllenhaal's character is kind of a despicable person.
Yeah, I am sure. The character, sure, he's not. It has a very unlikable main character, right? But is that much different from a movie like Birdman? I mean, Michael Keaton's kind of unlikable.
Yeah.
And American Sniper, is kind of about whether or not he's a good guy. And I guess because the Nightcrawler, the story is smaller in scale compared to a lot of these, but I wouldn't say that much different from Whiplash though. But maybe that's it. Whiplash was the low key movie of the year to be nominated.
Well, I will argue that it is not near the same as Whiplash, but that's a talk for a future.
I mean,
podcast.
It's low key though.
Okay.
Whereas the story is not as big in scale as something like Imitation Game or Boyhood.
I think for Nightcrawler, a lot of it has to do with he's not a likable character, but also he's doing like it's all based around this like practice that's really, really like a big deal in Los Angeles, Hollywood, that whole area, And since let's be frank, a lot of Academy members live out there.
Yeah.
So that might be some sort of demographic thing that we don't really know. Like, we don't see that as much of that doesn't affect us because we're just watching a movie, so we can judge it a little differently.
I'm getting this, but why would that make them not get nominated?
Well,
for
I think it's just like something that like in some part of people's minds is a little bit of a turnoff, And then when they're going and nominating movies and the voting on nomination is going, when it's between stuff like Nightcrawler and Whiplash or Boyhood, you're going to go with those ones that you just liked a little more.
Yeah. I see that. Well, moving on then.
Best animated feature.
Yeah, so the big snub for this one was obviously the Lego Movie. Yeah. Which I would have taken absolutely. I think Lego was absolutely the best animated feature.
Yeah. I will say this. My Alec Brown conspiracy theory is, I think, because How to Train Your Dragon 2 is on here, which How to Train Your Dragon 2 is the one that I don't think should be on this list. Not saying it's a bad movie, because I've said in previous podcasts I liked it, but it's not like in any way exceptional, Yeah. It's very much like the to the bar of animation. It's not bad animation. It's good animation, not exceptional. It's like a good story, not exceptional. And I just think this is something to do. This is a more political thing, where all these bigger animations like DreamWorks and Disney and all these all kind of are wanting equal representation, since the animation category is so small. Since they only get 5.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense.
And I think the Lego Movie just kind of was the one that got kind of pushed out, because that's
Yeah. Yeah, it's because Lego Movie is Blue Sky, right? Did Blue Sky have another one?
I think so.
But
research.
Well, no, I'm looking at something else because I was thinking, what I. Oh yeah, so it's 20th Century Fox did The Book of Life,
Yeah.
And that's one I would have liked to have seen get nominated because of such a unique visual style.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I mean, if I had to guess, I would say it purely did not get nominated because of the songs.
I was about to say that.
I guess
songs.
It's really
It's
like,
those
if you could think of something, it's like,
goddamn
what was
songs.
wrong with this movie? And you think it's like, oh, the songs.
The epitomizingly bad music choice.
Yeah, well, I could see, like, on paper how that would sound like a good idea. To kind of, like, do current and trendy music in this...
To get the kiddies in the door.
Yeah, to kind of, like, keep the kids, interested, excited, throughout a movie that's kind of this kind of old-style Mexican tale. When they're, next week is Big Hero 6 with, like, monsters and superheroes. Marshmallow robots, so...
Yeah. For anime feature, I think Big Hero 6 is going to win. I hope Big Hero 6 wins. I think Princess Kyuga is going to win. Because it's very artsy and,
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I plan on watching that.
Yeah.
So... Alright, so that moves us on to cinematography.
Birdman.
Yeah, none of these are even close to Birdman's level.
For those who don't know, Birdman is filmed in a way that makes the entire movie look like it's one continuous take. It is honestly, and I say this was the one thing I walked away with Birdman, and it's in my notes, this is by far the most impressive cinematography I have seen in a long time. I know some people would argue that with me, but I really was floored by how well they pull this off. And at no point is there like, and I was like looking for mistakes, and I'm like looking for like small jumps or stuff, and it wasn't there, and like I get like when people are moving around the camera that's following like Michael Keaton, their timing is so good that they're never like in the way, They're always like moving next to him without like touching him and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really, I find that really impressive. And if Birdman doesn't win, I will be thoroughly upset because this is a very well done movie.
Yep. Well, that pretty much covers that. Because,
I'm sorry, I had to.
Well, I would agree that it's very overwhelmingly better than anything else this year.
Yep.
Even though, and I like the Grand Budapest Hotel, and I think that movie is well shot, but still didn't take as much talent as Birdman did.
Yeah.
So that'll move us on to Best Achievement in Film Editing. So me, I honestly, out of all of these, I really like Whiplash. Although I could see where Boyhood I'll have to watch Boyhood and see how well it was edited, but I imagine that would take a lot of effort to edit.
Yeah, well, with me, a lot, I think, like you, I want Whiplash to win. I think Boyhood is going to win there again because of this whole time thing. Because for those who don't know, like, over the span of 12 years in the movies, we have gone from film to digital. And that doesn't sound like a big thing, but that's like a huge thing, Like, so this Boyhood movie has been filming on different mediums with different equipment and different lights, for a decade. And making it all come together and look like one movie instead of like a bunch of small movies, It's very impressive.
Yeah, no, it's most likely going to go to them.
Yeah. The only other thing is, I think if American Sniper were to win, which I think is like
it's a good chance because war movies have an easier time winning these because the battle scenes take a lot of editing skill.
Yeah. That being said, though, I think Boyd's going to win over American Sniper because American Sniper.
I think we're pretty much in agreement that American Sniper's probably. I mean, you think Bradley Cooper might win, but I really doubt it because I think Michael Keaton's got that all tied up. But for the most part, we're kind of getting to American Sniper's not going to win anything. They got their nod, which was kind of, American Sniper didn't get that great of reviews.
Yeah.
Certainly nothing like Birdman.
Yeah,
but they still kind of gave it a nod, and I don't, there's a lot more going on than we know about. But
yeah, I think Sniper won't win over Boyhood primarily because
well, no, you made your point. You made your point about Boyhood
before.
pretty clear. Yeah, that makes it. I think it's a pretty high front runner there for that reason. All right, that'll move us on to the Sound Awards.
So,
I'm mad about Fury not being on here.
I am mad also. Because this was the one, remember when we talked about Fury, we specifically mentioned how impressive the sound was on this.
Yeah, especially the sound editing. So that was pretty upsetting. I think of all the categories, Fury really should have gotten at least a nomination for those. I mean, much more than something like The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Which, it's good sound editing, but...
I can tell you
nothing we haven't seen before.
I can tell, it's nothing out of the ordinary. I think Sniper's going to win this one.
Yeah, Sniper or Interstellar.
No,
no, that's right, because Interstellar, that was kind of one of the big complaints. It's funny, they got nominated for both the Sound Awards. One of the biggest complaints of it was sound.
Yeah.
But then Nolan came out and said it was all intentional.
Yeah, right. So, I think Sniper's taking editing and probably mixing. I could argue it's going to take both.
I could see that.
For mixing, I'm hoping Whiplash. I'm on the Whiplash team this year. I don't know. I think it's obvious now. I am Team Whiplash this season.
Although I could easily see Birdman coming away with sound mixing for the same way, because Birdman kind of did this for the same reason that Whiplash would. But Birdman, the mixing was a little bit better, I think, with the jazz music.
Oh yeah, actually, I was about to you beat me to it. I was gonna say this is a big year for jazz in movies.
Yeah,
big year for jazz in movies. Birdman actually, it's kind of I really like the jazz in Birdman because it perfectly conveys feelings. And it changes.
Yeah.
It sounds
it's all about improvisation.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a theme of the movie, is improvisation.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to grasp that, but I know I could tell that that was a big theme of it.
Yeah.
And Edward Norton's character was all about that. So all right, anything else on the sound?
On the sound? Nope.
All right, now we move on to achievement in visual effects.
Visual effects.
So this is almost and visual effects gets more and more every year, more and more of just a crapshoot. Just wow, all 5 of these movies had breathtaking visual effects.
Yes. On that topic, it's really visual effects is one of those categories that's actually kind of I find it a bit really interesting and perplexing because of the way the Academy votes,
Yeah.
Because everyone can nominate, but only people in that field can vote, for those in the audience who don't know that already. That's kind of how it works. So it's always weird. It's weird that, this group of digital effects people, that must be either a huge group or a really small group.
Yeah.
Because it's where's the line? Because, when you think of visual effects, there's a good 50 people. For the Avengers, there's 50 people working on the Hulk.
Yeah.
So do all 50 of them, or is it just the guy who is in charge of them all?
Is it just the guy who's in charge of everything? 4 or 5 guys. It looks like it's always 4 or 4 to 5 that.
But that being said, I must imagine it must be crazy to look at those votes because. This must come down to nitpicking effects for these guys because movie effects look so good nowadays.
Yeah. But moving on to winners, Interstellar probably.
Interstellar.
That seems like it's the gravity of this year. So, or at least they wanted it to be.
They really wanted it to be.
All right. Well, any snubs for visual effects?
For visual effects. Whew.
Hmm.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one.
Not really. I mean, maybe Godzilla had good visual. Had really. It was the CGI looked really, really good in Godzilla, but these movies, right? I mean, this list right here were some of the most action-packed movies of the summer. So, all right. Well, that'll take us to best adapted screenplay.
This is where I think for adapted screenplay, there again, Whiplash. I think if Sniper wins nothing else, it'll win screenplay.
Yeah,
like if it loses everything else.
I could see that. Although The Imitation Game is pretty good, is supposed to be pretty good. And also, I also kind of I want to go ahead and watch Inherent. I'm going to watch Inherent Vice here in the next couple days, and because that movie, I have a good feeling about it. That it was this is definitely one of I guess I'll have to watch a lot of them to really know how good the writing was and how good the story was.
Yeah, but whenever you get on a writing award, Paul Thomas Anderson is always. Like his name on a movie script, I imagine always causes like a big ruckus because there's
because he is ridiculous. But his movies are all like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah,
but so these like long movies are the kind of movies that have an easier time winning best adapted screenplay because it's an original story. Sorry, not an original story. It's an adapted.
It's like, Kyle, I think you missed
Sorry,
up
I was
there.
thinking something different. But
so now we can talk about original screenplays.
So original screenplays.
Birdman. I think Birdman's going to win.
Yeah, Birdman is almost definitely going to win. This is the one where I would really like Foxcatcher to win too, though.
I would like.
The Grand Budapest Hotel is so cleverly written, though. Not going to win.
Not going to win.
But that's another one. If you're going to give Wes Anderson any Oscar, it should be Best Original Screenplay. And then, Nightcrawler, that was the only nod that it got. So, I don't know. I have to say I'm pretty conflicted. I am pretty conflicted when it comes to the writing awards this year.
Yeah.
That'll probably be the category that I focus on.
Yeah.
And I'll watch all these movies. I've seen most of them already, I suppose.
Yeah. So that's the list. So before we wrap it up, Kyle, what are you thinking about this whole year, this whole Oscar season of movies? What is your opinion?
Way better than last year. Like, those are the thoughts that immediately pop into my head. I was definitely not as impressed with the slate last year, which you're gonna have to help me with. But 12 Years a Slave, it was all right, but I didn't really enjoy it that much. I knew that was going to win Best Picture, but I didn't really want it to. I didn't really like Gravity all that much. It looked good, but
I actually did not care for Gravity at all. I thought it was kind of a
But and I don't know, I can't remember a lot of the other ones from last year, but it was not as good as this year. That is for sure. Whiplash was such a big surprise for me. I mean, I kind of been waiting to see that for a little while, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. And Birdman, which was kind of this like. It was kind of hyped for about a year, kind of on the underground. And
it was. I remember seeing like pictures of Birdman like on the internet way earlier,
right before people knew what it was.
Yeah, like when all there was pictures of a guy in a bird suit, and everyone was like, "What on earth is this?"
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that's what I think. I mean, so a lot of the movies I enjoyed, even throughout the year, like the Grand Budapest Hotel came out way earlier this year, but I really loved that movie. Whiplash, Birdman, American Sniper, Nightcrawler. Even though I was happy I watched that. Yeah. And I have more movies to watch, which I will definitely take some time from the BrownCast schedule to tell you, the listeners, all about it as I watch more movies.
Yep. For me, this whole movie going Oscar season, I gotta say my thought on this is this year, and goes for a lot of cinema. This was a very ambitious year for cinema. That's something I noticed with this. There were a lot of movies that got made this year that were very ambitious projects, you know?
Yeah.
And from lots of unknown directors or smaller directors, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and even some of the bigger stuff, you know? You have stuff like the Lego movie, which, I mean, come on. If someone had told you, like, 5 or 6 years ago, hey, someone's going to make
5 or 6, like 1 year ago.
Like,
Before,
hey, they're going to make a movie out of Legos, and it's going to be by the guys who made 21 Jump Street.
It's going to be the best animated movie of the year.
Yeah. And, you know, it's just even with Boyhood, you know, coming out, and I give the director credit where credit's due. A project like that it's very impressive that it got pulled off, because as the golden rule of movies is everything that can go wrong will at some point.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine like how much blood, sweat, and tears went into that movie. It's very impressive that a project like that could ever happen. You know?
Oh yeah. No, it's definitely impressive.
I keep saying, I'm Team Whiplash this year for all my, like... Honestly, I think it's definitely, like, it's going to be my top movie of this year, you know? Of this, like, this Oscar season this year. Because it just was, like, I watched it and it just was a huge delight for me. Mm-hmm. I think to the audience I could say, this is a really interesting year for movies and all these Oscars. I would recommend people go see as many of them as they can. Because even for some of the ones
it's a good slate this year.
Yeah, even if we didn't, you know, highly recommend as many of them, that's just like, they're all good, but we put some above others. You know? Mm-hmm. And even the stuff that's snubbed, like when people hear like, oh, Gone Girl was snubbed. Go watch Gone Girl. Then you'll know why people are making a fuss about it. Yeah,
exactly. And Nightcrawler, for that matter. So, all right. So I guess that ends this special Oscar episode of BrownCast Ultra.
Yep.
Be sure to check out the show notes for the additional links for you can see all the nominated. We didn't talk about some of them, like original score and costume design and set design. Maybe we will. But maybe we won't. So.
Yep.
But definitely will continue to update you as we see more of these Oscar movies. For sure.
Definitely.
Especially if I see one that makes me rethink where I stand. I don't know if you seem pretty solid on the Whiplash thing, but you know, maybe we'll see. I mean, you haven't seen The Imitation Game yet,
I have
right?
not. That may blow me out of the water.
It's supposed to be really good. Benedict Cumberbatch is supposed to be really good in it.
And for those of you keep an eye out on the channel. I don't know about Kyle, but I am definitely going to be doing a lot of one-off movie reviews for all these Oscar movies. Some quick episodes.
Yeah. Well,
just to give people an idea of what they're looking at if they don't get a chance to see them before the Oscar season hits.
Yeah, no, I'll try to get in on some of those because some I'd like to talk about. Be sure to look out. I'm going to start doing some DC TV weekly roundups.
DC TV.
Talk about everything that happened on the DC Comics TV shows. This week we don't have as many, but stay tuned if you want my opinion. Yep. No, don't stay tuned, but keep on the channel if you want to check out my opinion on those.
They need to stay tuned. They have to keep watching all the episodes until your episodes come out.
Exactly.
That's the rule.
Listen and re-listen. Well, that'll do it for me. Final thoughts, Alec?
I'm ready for the Oscars. It's time. It's the countdown, you know? Now I just get to... I need one of those clocks that, like, does the countdown for you.
Yeah.
Get one of those Christmas clocks, except we'll repurpose it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Well. Eat. Be sure to eat an apple every day, kids. They are nature's toothbrush. And goodbye.